streak tweets here. First one here, it comes from Ross Gerber, and it's kind of ominous on the surface. He says, pay attention to Micron and Nvidia. And I do like this new little X feature, by the way, of the stock price graph. I do find that quite helpful. Now, for those of you, here's the tweet itself. For those of you that actually want to watch the video, I would encourage you to do this, but I've actually watched it for you, and I'll go ahead and give you a quick breakdown on that just in case you want to save some time. Basically, 3 years ago, Jensen was explaining how the future was going to go to some of these suppliers. He was telling them that there's going to be increased demand for all of these different chips and products and all of this. And he conveys that the company, in this tweet, he conveys that the company goes upstream and downstream to the suppliers just to make sure that they can plan for it. Now, obviously, they couldn't plan for the massive demand, but it could have been worse if Jensen didn't have this kind of forward vision to plan for this as it was. AI agents he goes on to describe AI agents basically as digital workers. So it's almost as if every human is going to turn into a manager of these digital workers, which I thought was a really interesting way to look at it. He's on this conversation with Michael Dell. And Michael Dell says anyone will have, or anyone and everyone will have digital agents working for them, and they'll become supervisors. He also addressed the memory issue, and he said it takes time to build the factories for memory, but he was specific that the companies are actually listening to this. Whereas you might have said, hey, you're going to have to build faster, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that. In the past, companies wouldn't listen, but they are actually listening to this. So there's optimism here that they're going to be able to spin some of these factories up. That, dare I say it, makes maybe the memory price issue transitory. That was probably too soon, but you know where I'm going with that. Jensen also talked about, he said, quote, this is literally the very beginning. We will be doing this for a decade or more, end quote. That's a direct quote from this. So my takeaway on that is that I had asked earlier, and I asked Scott as well, about buying some of these memory chips that look really, really extended. Do we buy any of these on a pullback? Well, based on two of the big players, in fact, one of them is called the godfather of AI, they're telling you that, hey, first of all, not only are we absolutely in the very, very early innings of this, 100% we're in the early innings of this. It's going to be going on for a long time. Oh, by the way, we actually talked to our supply chain upstream and downstream where we're at just to make sure that we can get all this stuff done. So I have my differences with Ross Gerber. Sometimes I agree with some of the funny things that he says, and a lot of the times that I disagree here. I think what he's saying here is that, hey, Nvidia, Micron, some of the stuff in this kind of theme, it might fall out of favor temporarily, but it's not going anywhere. And it just seems like the buy the dip is being conveyed with this tweet.